Welcome to Dad Bods and Touchdowns.
Hey, thank you for joining us on another episode of Dad Bods and Touchdowns. And like always, if you like what you hear or what you see, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on all of our social media sites, TikTok and Instagram. All right, Eric, they came out with the Hall of Fame inductees this past week. Drew Brees got in, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. Before we get into deep discussion, let's talk first with the Hall of Fame announcing today that they're going to get back to in-person meetings. So that way they can discuss, not virtually, but all together, who they're going to allow into the Hall of Fame, who they vote into there, I should say. And maybe that would change the mind of the likes of like Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick not being first-time balloters getting in. I mean, do you think that's the right thing to do? I mean, obviously, I don't think the virtual meetings were working out too well. Do you?
No, it's just, I get it. It's easier just so you don't have to take a flight or meet in one specific spot. But like, you need to take everything into consideration as far as, you can't take, I feel like they took some of the stuff personally, and you can kind of discuss that in person better than virtually.
Yeah, no, I agree completely with you. I mean, obviously, we discussed it and hit on it last week with the Belichick fact. And we actually thought Kraft was going to be inducted. And from all the words that were flying around, then it leaked out before they had made the announcements that Kraft was not going to be making the Hall of Fame either as a first balloter. So I agree with you, Eric. I think they took it personal on some of the stuff, with Spygate and Deflategate and stuff like that. But let's be honest. I mean, to win that many rings and not be in the first time you hit the ballot, it's kind of unacceptable, just in my take. And you got Larry Fitzgerald, I am a big fan of. He was great, not just as a player. He was great off the field, too. He's a first-time balloter that made it in. You can't put somebody that likes Larry Fitzgerald, who didn't win a Super Bowl, into the Hall of Fame and not put the likes of a coach and an owner who won 6 rings. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I agree with you there. I just think it's all the personal stuff. And I think maybe they realized if they put in the owner, that would look weird to them and kind of undermine their, I don't know if it's authority or overall just aspect of how they decide who gets it and who doesn't. It just needs to be who has the record or history to back up a, Hall of Fame, season, or not a season, but like a career, you know what I mean? So I just think that they need to figure out a better way of taking out the personal side of things and making it just the people that deserve to go in, they need to go in kind of deal.
Very well said. I agree with you. All right. They announced last night the NFL awards, obviously at the awards banquet. MVP, no shocker to us, I don't think. I think we pretty much assumed Matthew Stafford was going to win that. Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith and Jigma, very well deserved. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, all-time sack leader. He's got to be that Defensive Player of the Year to me. Your Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, and we'll come back to that here in a minute. Your Protector of the Year, it's brand new, and the Chicago Bears, Joe Thuney walked away with that one. Great to see. And then the Walter Payton Man of the Year, Bobby Wagner from the Washington Commanders, walked away with that prestige award, being a great guy on the field and off the field. Great to see. Congratulations to all those guys. Eric, let's circle back to Coach of the Year. We're going to wait till the Bears segment, but let's talk about it now. Coach Johnson got 1 vote for Coach of the Year. And I'm not saying he should have got more. I'm not saying he shouldn't have won, or that he should have won it. I'm not going to say that. But to have only 1 vote for Coach of the Year for that man who took the Bears, who were upside down, and take them to a playoff team, not just a playoff team, but a team that won in the playoffs. Is that kind of a slap in the face? Do you think this is personal?
Yeah, that is a little weird to me. I think that he did a lot to show and just change the overall organization. I mean, we're not where we are if it isn't for, Ben Johnson. So I think that's kind of BS, but it is what it is. Like, it's It's always been, it seems like it's a popularity contest, just like the Pro Bowl, and you just said the Hall of Fame. But, Vrabel did, make it to the Super Bowl, first year coach with that organization. But like you said, it's BS. I agree with you there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Vrabel don't deserve it. I think Vrabel does deserve it. If I had to vote, he would get a vote for. I would vote for him for that only because not just because he's in the Super Bowl, but he also took a team that was to me upside down and flipped them. I don't care what the schedule was. We say it all the time. You play the schedule that you're given, and you're expected to win those games, and that's what he did, and that's what they did, and they're in the Super Bowl this year. I don't have a problem either with Kyle Shanahan being on that list and getting votes because obviously with the mess he had to deal with when it came to the injury side of football, he did a great job, and so did Robert Saleh do a great job of, as we've spoken in the past. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to seem like I have a problem overall with Johnson not winning it. I have a bigger problem with it seems like one vote was kind of just a slap in the face to Johnson, and I didn't understand that.
I didn't think it was that big of a split or big of a distance to me. Teams showed up and won the games that they needed to, like the Patriots. Like we said, I mean, we're not taking anything away from them. I'm just thinking that there was more improvement from one team to the other, but it is what it is.
Right. And let's talk about that Super Bowl now that's coming up this Sunday. All right. My thought, first of all, the Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites coming into this. A lot of people thought it was going to lower a little bit. It has not. It's pretty much stayed put since the line came out. It hasn't changed much, right? I'm just looking at overall everything that I've seen, and I know you've got some points too. But one of the things I want to think about is how that Seahawks offense is ranked 7th overall in regular season, obviously led by Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigma. Both guys had an exceptional regular season, and what seemed to be at first an easy schedule was not so much an easy schedule. It ended up being the 4th ranked toughest schedule out there. And they both played very well. And quite honestly, Sam Darnold has turned around that stigma about him not being able to perform in the playoffs. And I know we've talked about it where they've taken the ball out of his hands a little bit more so he doesn't have to make those bad decisions. If he continues, who knows what's going to happen Sunday. I just look at Seattle's defense, Eric. It was first again, with points allowed against them, only 17 points allowed per game. A third against the run. They're top 7 when it comes to sacks and turnovers. Overall, they're ranked 6th. I mean, what's your thoughts so far, looking at what you've looked at?
No, you pretty much covered all the team aspects of it. I mean, and then you kind of just go into what other historic things as far as Super Bowl matchups. The Super Bowl favorites are 28-3. Just here recently, and it seems that way too. I mean, the books typically have the idea of who's gonna win. I don't know. Like you said, defense just seems better. Sam Darnold proved that he can be the reason why they win. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, with Drake May's struggles, I mean, against the defenses in the postseason so far, you look at game 1, he was 16-27, 179 yards, 1 interception, and he was sacked 5 times against the Texans. And then he turns around again against Denver. He was sacked another 5 times. He was 10 of 21 for 86 yards. In the regular season, they were the 3rd ranked offense. And like we said, the schedule is definitely soft, but you play the schedule that you were given. And Drake May was very good against those defenses, but he's struggled against 2 very good defenses, and that's what he's going against this coming Sunday. Total yards for the Patriots defense, I'll tell you right now, I believe that Patriots defense is for real. I don't care what their schedule was. I think that defense is very good. I think Mike Vrabel's done a good job there. Total yards allowed, they were 4th best. Points allowed, they were 4th best. And average yards per game, they were 9th best. So overall, I think defensively, the Patriots are going to be good. I think it's going to be fun to see what happens with that Patriots offense against that Seattle's defense. That's what I think. Eric, looking at that game, what's your prediction? What's your score prediction?
It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be 28-24. Like you said, that defense is good on both sides. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I'm excited to watch the game.
And what's your prediction for Super Bowl MVP?
I think Sam Darnold shows up and he's the reason why. I mean, I know it's easy to pick the quarterback here, I think.
Yeah. Well, I have Seattle winning, and I think they cover the spread. I don't think it's a close game. I think Drake May struggles once again against that Seattle defense. I think that he is probably sacked more than 5 times in this game. I think I have it going 31-13, and obviously a Seattle victory there. And I've got Jackson Smith and Jigma being the MVP of this game. I think that he has been the MVP for them all season long. And obviously the offensive player of the year. I see a big game coming from him. I do. All right. We're on Super Bowl topics, right, Eric? I want to talk about my favorite Super Bowl I ever watched. All right. And then I want to get your take. I was lucky enough to watch the 85 Bears win the Super Bowl. I'm proud to say I don't care. I'm that old. I got to see it. All right. The best athlete ever to play the game of football, talking about Walter Payton, the best defense, the greatest defense to me to ever take the football field. They handled the Patriots. Patriots never had a chance. Grogan was sacked 4 times, intercepted twice. Walter Payton and Matt Suey combined for 113 yards on the ground. You had the punky QB, Jim McMahon, threw for 256 yards. You had Willie Gault, who had 4 catches for 129 yards in that game. You know what? If Njigma does that tomorrow, and those numbers are close like what Jim McMahon had, Njigma wins that MVP. Why Willie Gault didn't win that and Richard Dent did, I don't know. Looking at it today, I think Willie Gault deserved that MVP for the Super Bowl. Hey, congratulations to Richard Dent anyway. Obviously, the Fridge scored a touchdown and that. The only disappointment, obviously, as a Bears fan, and I think probably every Bears fan that had a disappointment out of this game, obviously it was Walter Payton did not score a touchdown in that game. That's the only disappointment from the 85 season or that Super Bowl. I will forever be singing the Super Bowl shuffle in my head. I don't care. To my grave, I will sing the Super Bowl shuffle. So that's my most memorable Super Bowl. Eric, what's yours?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go probably I don't like the Patriots, but it was a crazy Patriots win. It was that Falcons versus Patriots. They're down 24-3, I think, right? Was that right? And they come back.
They were
and
down by
that.
24.
Yeah, 24 points. I think that's a crazy win. Another one you can go back is the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, where they should have ran the ball with Marshawn Lynch. So hopefully the Seahawks can get that out of their mouth. But I mean, I wish I could say I watched the 85 Bears, which I wasn't alive, sadly, or not sadly, whatever you want to say.
You're still a swimmer.
But, there's a lot of really good Super Bowl memories, a lot of really good games. The Cardinals with Antonio Holmes with that, or Steelers with that sideline catch there's a lot of really good, awesome plays. But I'd probably go with those two just because of the matchups and just the fact that Tom Brady was able to come back down 24 points. It's kind of
Was your favorite Super Bowl moment ever, though? Watching Devin Hester run the opening kickoff.
Oh, 100%. I still get chills watching that. I can't say that it's my favorite Super Bowl, obviously, because they lost. But man,
favorite moment.
I can remember that. I remember, and then I just remember being depressed and being like, "Oh, we're not winning this actually," because Grossman can't hang on to the ball. But
right. It was nice to be there, though. At least they were there. It would have been nice to see a victory, but they were the NFC champions that year.
I think I was 10 or 11. I can't remember, but I still remember that. I mean, it's the fact that they're like, "Oh, we're not going to kick to them," and then they're like, "Oh, you know what? Let's just do it. It's fine.
Just do it. We're not afraid of them."
Okay. We're not afraid at all.
So, Eric, I'm a pretty boring person. All right, you give me some chips and salsa and guac, and like this Sunday I'm making what they call cowboy caviar, Texas caviar, which is a more healthier trend for myself right now. What's your favorite Super Bowl snack while you're sitting there watching the game?
I agree. I mean, I've always been a salty, crunchy kind of guy. I like chips, but you can't go wrong with a good smoked wings. I think that it's always really good. Some good wings, and I'm assuming most people. I also like to get Chinese. I don't know why. I love Chinese food on Super Bowl. I love Chinese food or Asian food, but usually wings or Chinese food.
Chinese is not bad. Not bad. Not good for my diet right now, but not bad at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For sure, not the healthiest stuff, but hey, it's Super Bowl. It's okay.
Right. All right. The Raiders pretty much announced that they're hiring Clint Kubiak after the Super Bowl. I said it last week's podcast. This is their guy and who they wanted. It's a great hire for Vegas, and they need to turn it around. I mean, obviously a very poor season. Not only will he have the number 1 pick, but possibly another first-round pick and more draft collateral if they decide to trade an unhappy Max Crosby away. Vegas will be a contender in the next couple of years. You figure with that draft collateral, they'll probably end up with the Max Crosby deal. That, and they've got $88 million in cap space. I mean, that's a good landing spot for Kubiak and a good hire by the Raiders.
Yeah, I think they can turn around that offensive line with some free agents with all that cap space, like you said. You have that first overall pick. You get rid of Max Crosby. You get add on more picks. I mean, it's the right place if you think you can for a rebuild, like you said. Like, this is a perfect space to go. You have a great tight end, a great running back, still under rookie contracts, and you just got to add some more depth on the defense and some receivers. I think they'll have a great team, and obviously get that quarterback position correct. And yeah, I'm
Right.
excited to see what they do. Like I've said, I don't know. We talked about this. I think they should trade down, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think they keep that first overall
You think
pick, and
so?
I think they take Mendoza. I think that he is probably the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. I'm not saying that he'll be the greatest coming out of the draft. I don't think that quarterback is in this draft. So if you're looking to start a rebuild and going to a winning direction, I think you got to go in the direction of taking Mendoza and then going from there. And like I said, you're going to have more collateral probably. Max Crosby has stated that he wants to go. It's been out there now. I like Max Crosby. I think he's a great defender. I think he's probably one of the best well-rounded defensive linemen in the league at this point. But he's also going to be 29 next season. And I hope that the Bears don't make a play for him. I'd rather them not.
I mean, you're not gonna get the Michael Parsons deal for Max Crosby just because of his age and what his salary is. So, I mean, if you think you can get him for a reasonable price, I mean, I wouldn't
He's
say
still going
no.
to cost you though. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
but
Bears struggle with cap
if it
space.
can add, if it adds to that, the better of the defensive line, like you said, to add a run stuffer with the ability to pass rush like he does, I mean, it's worth it. But I'd rather, honestly, if we're gonna spend money, let's get Hendrickson. As long as his back's okay, we add him.
We'll cover that when we hit the Bears.
I'm just saying. If we're gonna do that,
I disagree.
Of course.
I disagree.
I think
I think that he sat the sideline after signing a big contract this season showed a lot of his character to me. That's my problem with Hendrickson.
I mean, if he was injured, it's hard to play when you're injured.
Yeah. Well, tell that to DJ Moore, who went out there with probably a concussion and played the last couple plays of that game.
I'm not saying no. I mean,
that's the guys I want. I want the guys that are going to go out there and play for their team.
It's all about adding depth pieces and pass rushers. So, I mean, whatever. I mean,
leave him in Cincinnati or send him somewhere else.
He'll go somewhere for sure. I mean, somebody will get him.
Right. All right. Now the Cardinals, another one that I talked about last week. Who did I say they would hire, Eric? Mike LaFleur, right?
I'm pretty sure you said Matt Nagy.
Yeah. No, that would be my son who actually said that. And I think you followed suit, if I remember correctly. Listen, I think he's probably the best option for them. The struggling franchise and a very tough division. I don't know if I would want, even me, if I knew what I was doing, I don't know if I'd want to take that job, only because that division, as we see, the 49ers, the Rams, and Seattle Seahawks, that's tough. The upside is they got the 3rd overall pick this year, and they got about $39 million in cap space to start turning that around. The downside is he's got to face Sean McVay twice a season, and obviously Shanahan twice a season, and now the Seattle Seahawks twice a season. That's 6 games that are just going to be very tough games to win. Do you like this hire?
I mean, they have a history. They come from that McVay tree. And I think they have a good opportunity he has a good opportunity to try to at least establish Arizona as a good contender with the offensive weapons they have. But it's hard, like you said, with what they have or where they are to be able to compete with that division.
Right. And one last hire I want to talk to you about, because it's going to be interesting to us, I think personally, is Matt Nagy. Got hired on with John Harbaugh. He is the new offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. At first, I thought, why would you do that? Knowing that Kansas City didn't bring you back, knowing that the Titans didn't hire you, knowing that the Cardinals did not hire you. I'm looking, Eric, and I could be wrong. I think maybe the Kansas City Matt Nagy thing was a mutual agreement, maybe. So that way Nagy could go somewhere where he could call his own offensive plays, because we know in Kansas City, usually the offensive coordinators do not call it. They may call a little bit, but when it comes down to it, Andy Reid's calling that game. Do you think maybe this is one of those deals where Nagy asked Kansas City just to not worry about him, that he had no plans on re-signing with them so he could go somewhere and prove himself as an offensive mind?
Yeah, I mean, they said he called the plays, but I don't know how much of that is true, like you said. I mean, I think he's putting all his chips in on himself. He's betting on himself, and he thinks he can show off a good offense with the weapons they have in New York. So I think, yeah, maybe it is a mutual agreement, and that he will be trying to prove himself and being like, hey, you guys want to hire me to be United's head coach. So we'll see how that works out for him. I mean, I didn't ever hate Matt Nagy. I just disliked him as a play caller, but hopefully
his predictability in 2019 kind of just shattered it for us Bears fans.
It was
started
that
all the bad chants of fire Nagy and everything else.
It was that, and the fact that he relied on the trick play too much. He got too fancy and just couldn't run the ball. But I didn't come here to run the I formation. Motherfucker, it works. Okay, just do it. Like I don't understand. But
Ben Johnson doesn't run the I formation either.
He runs the ball though, so that don't matter to me as long as you run the ball. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, he thought he could just throw the ball 50 times and win games. That's just not how football works. I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk some Bears. Obviously, we're running into free agency pretty soon. Out of all the free agents that you could find right now out there, when free agency opens, Eric, who would you like to see the Bears go right after? One player, who would it be?
It's hard for me to give you an exact person because I don't know exactly who is like. I wish I had like a legitimate list, but early on, it has to be a pass rusher. It has to be like we said, a Hendrickson or somebody that can add, or somebody in the middle that could add some interior pressure or outside. I wish I had a better name for you. I just don't.
Well, how about this? Let me throw this out to you. Jalen Phillips, who the Eagles traded for, all right, from Miami, who's an edge rusher, is going to be a free agent this year, and he's going to be looking for probably about $17 million. Right now, Philadelphia's got a lot invested in their offense and their defense when it comes to the financials, right? This is a guy who had 73 quarterback pressures last season. All right, 9th in the league. Wouldn't that be somebody that the Bears might want to look at? I mean, that's the name that stuck out most to me. I don't want Trey Hendrickson. I'm sorry. When you sit out the whole season after signing a big contract, it tells me whether you're injured or not, it just doesn't look good to me. All right. And Max Crosby's age to me concerns me. So when I look at what free agents are available, when you're talking about youth and ability and affordability, that just seems to be the right fit there,
No, I agree. If he's a good price, I know he has a lot of upside. I know he has a decent, extensive injury history. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I wish we had a finalized, like, they can't resign him kind of list. But taking a quick look, like, Leo Chanel from Kansas City. We need some linebacker depth. He would be a good key piece. He's a good growth stuff.
Yeah, but we need pass rushers.
I
Period.
agree. I agree with you. I'm not saying no, but if there's not somebody that you think is to that caliber to spend that much money, it's hard to. I mean, I feel like we should build through the draft. I know but what Ryan Poles did last year gives me hope that he can improve what spots we need to improve through
Yeah, and actually
trading and stuff like
that was one of the things I was going to bring up to you is the fact of, I mean, with looking at the free agents, if they don't go after one and they build through the draft, like you just mentioned, I think we have to trade up first and foremost in order to go get that edge rusher. I mean, like Ruben Bain out of Miami would be a great freaking edge rusher to have. But the only way you're getting one of those guys, I think, is if you're trading up. I mean, they're going to have to give up something to move forward to get that. Do you see
Yeah,
that happening?
25 is the dead spot. I mean, I mean that's just how it is with the NFL. I mean, with the draft,
Right.
which sucks. But I mean, I have faith in Poles. He regained my faith, I guess, for what he did last year. I talked a lot of shit, but he proved me wrong. I don't know how much of that is Ben Johnson or how much of that is actual him, but I'm hoping that there's a lot of depth and pass in interior this year, so I'm excited to see what they can add. Like you said, in that.
Yeah, I think if we don't see him make some kind of move though to pick up or secure a solid person on a defensive line, we're not moving forward to me. I think our offensive lines are going to be okay. I think we've got the veteran leadership there to work with the Canadian Eagle when it comes to that left tackle. He did start there for 2 games before losing that spot. I think he can start there again, and I think Ben Johnson will have that trust in him. So I think that focus has to be at that pass rush. I think with that pass rush, because you can't sign everybody on the backside of our defense. Our defensive backfield, which struggled a little bit this past year, you could blame more on the lack of pass rush than you could their abilities. Just my take on it. So if you increase your pass rush and you fix that, even with like if you bring McLeod back, who won't cost you as much, then you can start to look at how you can put pressure on a quarterback and help your defensive backfield out.
No, I agree. I think Kansas City's in just bring this up. Just Kansas City's in a lot of hurt with cap space. You know that. So we
Yeah.
trade a fourth for Christian Jones. We do what we did with Tierney. Christian Jones comes in the middle. He has a lot of interior pressure and he can go outside. I mean, there's a lot of things that there is available for
Right.
us to trade. And I just think I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna not put faith in Poles to do something like that. Or
Right.
I
No,
could
I
see,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
I was just
So
looking at all the opportunities out there
no,
as a
I
Bear
agree with you.
fan
Like
as
I
I'm
said,
looking
I
at it.
wish I had a better because like I can look at this, but like we don't know until they resign, like or put tenders on people. So I wish we had a better list.
Right. All right. They also need to replace their offensive coordinator, which they have not done yet. I know there's some names thrown around, and quite honestly, none of the names that I really threw out there last week for myself, looking at the research of who they've actually brought in and talked to. Press Taylor, who's the passing game coordinator currently for the Bears, Connor Singer, who was the Cardinals passing game coordinator and specialist, Troy Walters was wide receiver coach for Cincinnati, and then Will Lawing, who was with Boston College. It's just kind of names that are just being thrown out there right now, but I'm surprised that they're not just staying directly in house on it. How about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same kind of thing. I know that you got to think about it this way. You're coming in, you're not going to be able to call plays. It's just what it is. But it's a great opportunity to learn from one of the top 3 pass or offensive coordinators in the NFL. You're going to have more opportunities after being mentored by him. You're going to have to do a lot of the grunt work and watch a lot of, the back end of stuff. But as someone that's trying to better himself or move up, you would take that position. I feel like it's a hot position and you would learn a lot from Ben Johnson as just overall coach.
Right. No, absolutely. And I also think that anybody that comes into Chicago is also looking at the fact that they're coming into a winning franchise, and they're already seeing where a lot of the assistants are being cherry picked for different positions around the NFL, which opens up obviously their opportunities and availability in the future too, which is why they all do it. You don't want to be stuck in a rut. And not move up and not make more money. So
Exactly. I mean, I think, it wouldn't benefit you to hire a Kingsbury or somebody that is a play caller because they don't want to go down and do all the other things. That's why they would get somebody young like that Cardinals pass game coordinator or somebody to that style. I mean, I think it's just trying to find somebody that can also mentor and just help out in every other part of the offense as well too, because they want teachers, like they said, people that can improve the team.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's move on to the UFC, Eric. There was UFC 325 last week. I know I watched it. Some pretty good fights. Volkanovski was dominant. I mean, to me, he's starting to rank up there with John Jones and Anderson Silva when you're talking about greats. I mean, what he did to Diego again was impressive to me. And I realized Diego had broke both of his feet essentially in that fight. And he still wouldn't use that as an excuse. I can tell you that right now. That dude's a warrior too. Like I said when we made our picks last week, I like both those guys. It's a tough one for me to say, hey, he's going to lose, but I didn't have a choice because Volk is that good. I mean, his fight IQ is just insane to me. So, what's your takeaways from it?
Like you said, Volk just was able, I'm over here thinking Lopez is going to come back better, being able to understand what Volk's strengths and weaknesses, but Volk did the same thing he completely understood the game plan and took every tendency that Lopez did and took it to his advantage. I don't know what the dude's legs are made of. Like every kick he checked broke. I think it was both times he broke
Both
each
feet.
foot was
Yeah.
from checking kicks. I was like, what the fuck's this dude's shins made out of? And okay, let's also talk about the fucking heavyweight division. What the fuck's going on there?
Oh
That
my
fight
God.
between Toya and Teixeira. What are we doing? Like, I get it. You guys are both knockout artists, but you got to have some tank to be able to fucking fight a 3-round fight. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
it just,
And that makes me think of and I know he didn't have a good showing the Saturday before, but that reminded me of when Derek Lewis said, man, I need to be in shape even to fight at heavyweight,
yeah,
And those guys were not. I mean, definitely not. What'd you think of Dan Hooker, though? I mean,
he looks
I'm a
soft.
Dan Hooker fan, but
Yeah.
man, St. Denis made him look like he didn't belong in there with
He
him.
looks soft. I would have never said that's Hooker. Hooker has always been the guy that can get hit, keep getting hit, and people start getting scared because they're like, I hit him with my best shit and he won't go down. But he just laid
Right.
there. I don't know what he was previously heard or whatever. I mean,
Right.
yeah. Another one was the Rafi fight versus Fazira.
That was impressive to me.
It was very impressive. I remember this guy now that when I started watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had
very
some
impressive.
wars. Faziz has had some wars with
Yeah.
Gaethje and
Yeah.
taking shots. And for Rufi to put him down, TKO, it was very impressive to me.
It was very
I mean,
impressive. I agree. But it was a decent fight card. I'm hoping to see uh more fight more. I like to watch the younger guys because I really hope they can develop that heavyweight division or light heavyweight division. I don't know.
well, I will tell you
I guess
this.
we were spoiled with the years with Cain Velasquez, Cormier, Mark Croc, all those people. It's just I don't.
No, I don't disagree with you one bit. And this is the thing. There's a guy who's up and coming in that heavyweight division. He's not in the UFC yet. He will be. And quite honestly, I think that weight division is so soft right now.
He could win.
I could see him fighting for a belt in his
3
third
fights.
fight, realistically. I mean, I
100%.
really can. And his hands aren't even the best. I think he could beat Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
I think
Taylor
the only one
Swift's soft. He's soft as
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Lewis was the next. I was like, maybe he could do another run. He's just passed it. Acosta looks good, but I don't know if his ground game is good. I don't know if he can fight a 5-round fight. It doesn't seem like there's anybody that is to that level.
And what Eric and I are referring to is Gable Stevenson.
Yes,
He's on his way
for the
up.
people that don't know, I'm sorry. Yeah, for the people
Yes.
that don't know, it's Gable Stevenson. I know
If you have not watched any of his fights so far, I encourage you to get out there and watch his hand speed and his abilities. Even as a wrestler, his striking is so quick and on point. I will tell you, I know you're not a John Jones fan, Eric, but John Jones is working with him and working with him well. I think he's doing a great job of tutoring him and mentoring him.
I will never take away from what's it called?
His abilities.
His abilities, or it's just his IQ. His fight IQ is top 3.
Off the charts.
I mean, it's uncanny. Like, I'm never going to take that away from John Jones. It's just the outs. It's just he's his worst enemy. That's the thing that bothers me. He has everything. He has all the things, all the tools, but he doesn't need PEDs to fucking win. He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't need to go out and fight or beat up his, never mind. Just all the things. All the
he doesn't
things.
need to go on coke binges. Is that what
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. But we're gonna have to talk about next week. We're gonna have to talk about your favorite heavyweight. We're gonna do that. It makes me
all right.
I just want to go through that. But anyways,
we can do that.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you something. Would you consider Volk now the greatest featherweight of all time? And
that's tough.
What would you like to see him do next?
If he can beat Topuria, I would say yes. But the way he got dominated.
See, I say yes. And the reason why I say yes, obviously he surpassed Aldo. He surpassed Holloway to me, in my opinion, of what he's done in that
I'm not
division.
taking that away from him.
But Ilya didn't spend enough time in that featherweight division to really consider him the greatest featherweight of all time to me. You know what I mean?
But it was just it just looked too easy.
And I agree, he
for
dominated him. I agree.
There was nobody has ever made Volk look just like he didn't know what he was doing.
Like he's human.
Exactly. Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's just if I wouldn't have seen that fight, I would have been like 100%. But I don't know if I can say that now.
Yeah. I agree with you. The reason why I say yes, like I said, is just because Ilya didn't really spend a lot of time there in that division. He moved up too fast, and I'm not holding that against him, but in the same return, I want to see how many title defenses you're going to have as a featherweight, and he hasn't done what Volk's done when it comes to defending that title like that. I mean, just my opinion. But so we just talked about John Jones, Eric, and Daniel Cormier literally came out and said, John Jones and I will wrestle in RAF, talking about Real American Freestyle. Yeah. And if you haven't watched that, I encourage you all to get out and watch that if you're a wrestling fan. But so when John was asked about it, he says, I can't do it because I already have severe arthritis in my hip and I've already been approved for a hip replacement. Thoughts on that one? I know my thoughts, but I'll let you go. I'll let you run with it.
It's just getting attention into the sport. I mean, God, I wish we could have seen prime Cormier. Like, I wish they were the same age. You know what I mean? They caught each other at the wrong time. I mean, Cormier is an Olympian.
We're talking on the mat, not in the octagon.
I know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Cormier is an Olympian. He's done, championships and all that. John Jones was a JUCO wrestler. Never really, he was good. I'm not taking it away from him, but I'm sorry if he was on the mat. I think Cormier just takes him. But I don't know. It would be good to see what would happen without punches or kicks.
No, I will tell you my opinion. I agree with you. I think DC beats John Jones in an actual wrestling match. When you're talking about a freestyle match or a Greco match, even folk style match, I think that DC comes up on top of that without a problem, to be quite honest with you. I mean, he might have a little bit of problem with John's length, but DC's dealt with that all of his life as a wrestler, so he can overcome that without a problem. And like you said, not just a wrestler, but an Olympic wrestler, and obviously a finalist, when it came to the NCAAs. DC was a great coach.
He put points on
wrestler.
Yeah, he put points on Cal Sanderson, the greatest college wrestler of all time. I mean, he was no scrub. He went to the Olympics a few times. He could have probably won if it wasn't for the steroid use. The story where he's like, they started going back and testing people's urine and stuff, and they kept going as 2007, and then they were like, it's 2000. 2006, and then they stopped at 2006, and he's like, I might have won second place if it wasn't for all the steroid use they had.
Man.
So
he's always got an excuse for
no,
why he
I'm just joking because I was watching him say that, but no, like it was the old video, but no, you know, he was a bronze medal or not bronze, he placed fourth. I mean, it's still, how many people can say they went to the Olympics?
Right.
You know, and
I don't think John wants to see him on the mat.
No, I don't see that.
I mean, in the octagon, I think he'll see him all day long, but he doesn't want to see DC on the mat. Just my opinion. Yeah. I think the arthritis may be a little true, obviously. I mean, the sport that they're in can take a lot of damage on your body. I'm sure that there's aches and pains all over every single one of them fighters and arthritis in a lot of their bones and so on and so forth. But to me, it's not an excuse, but it is definitely an excuse of not to see DC on the mat. And you know what? I would love it, Eric. I think that it would shoot our RAF. The views on that would go through the roof, without a doubt. That would be probably the biggest match they could ever put out there right now.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody would tune in to watch that, just to watch that feud, because it was original. Like, you can't fake that kind of hate. They just did not like each other.
They still don't like each other.
No, 100%.
John just got done saying I tried to make it right with him, but he just doesn't want to make it right. And I believe John when it comes to that. I think that he wants to let that go, and I think all the shit that's been said in the past to each other, that DC can't lay that to rest. I can't say I don't blame him. I mean, so he put him through some shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, he said stuff about his, sadly about his daughter that passed away. And he's talked about certain things that you just, as a man, you can't take that, and
right.
But, like I said, that's the things that I don't like about John Jones. I'm not taking anything away from his actual fighting IQ or fighter as the overall, but I don't know. I wish we could see that. I mean, that would have been great. But it's just,
you never know. Money talks, man. Money talks. You know that.
What is Cormier, like 45, 48?
I'd still watch it. I'd still watch it. You wouldn't?
He needs to go on a big cut. Have you seen that dude's stomach? Like, I mean, I don't know.
I did. Man. I noticed it actually last pay-per-view.
I was like, he just reminds me of those old, top tier wrestling coaches that just were studs.
2 weeks ago when him and Joe Rogan were standing next to each other talking, I thought he was going to eat him like he was a big cookie.
So, and it's like nothing against him. I mean, he was always a really good athlete. He was able to, what he did at Strike Force. Food. Cormier, Strike Force is top tier, and like you said, he's always liked food. That's his thing.
He doesn't deny it though, so that's that's just part of him, part of his persona. So. All right, let's talk about this fight night coming up. Give my picks, and then let's hear yours. First fight, Kobe over Walker. They both lost to a decision in Minifield, but Jacoby's on a 2-fight win streak, both by TKO. Second fight, I got Basharat over Matsumoto. Basharat is 5-0 since winning on Dana White's Contender Series. Then I got Ola Jacek over Andre Barrot. Micah's on a 2-fight win streak, both ending in TKO in the first round, so I got to take him. He's also the gentleman, and I realized it after the fact, when he fought Alonzo Menifield, got submitted, he got his arm snapped, and I remember watching that.
I remember that too, bro. That was so bad.
So that to me just goes to prove his mental toughness, his physical toughness, so I had to take him. The next fight, I've got Almeida over Koniev. Almeida lost to Volkov by split decision last time out on the octagon, but I think he's going to bounce back nicely on this. The next fight, I got Hiraguchi over Albazi. I'm going to blow his name, but whatever it is, Albazi. I got Hiraguchi coming over from Ryzen. He was a champ over there. I made his debut, 3rd round submission. I think he takes another step up the ladder. I mean, I think he's like 35 years old, so time's limited for him, but he's taking the right steps so far. And then for the main event, I got Oliveira over Batista, which is an upset for the main event. The line's pretty close, so it's not like a major upset, but it would be an upset. Oliveira has a 4-fight win streak coming off since being on the Dana White Contender Series. I'm riding with him for the upset. So I think it'll be a good fight. It's going to be a fun fight to watch, but I think Oliveira is going to keep climbing himself up the ladder there too. So that's my picks. Eric, how about yours?
So I'm gonna go. This is hard for me because every time I choose the younger fighter, they lose. But I'm gonna still do it. I'm gonna go with Walker for this one. I think he's hungry. I think Jacoby's past his prime. I say this all the time, but I think Walker needs to prove that he belongs in the UFC. And then same thing with this other one. This is a tough one. They're both 26 and 28. I like Masamato, but like you said, Burchard is undefeated here in the UFC, and just overall. But I think I'm gonna go with the Brazilian here. It's just gonna be a tough fight. I don't know much about both of them, but I'm gonna go with the Brazilian. And then I don't know how to say this dude's last name. I'm gonna go with the Poland. I'm gonna go with Michael. I think he wins this
Ultra
fight.
Jacek?
But yeah, I think he has the chance to. I mean, they're basically the same size, same thing. I just think he has a better striker than Barat. Next one, like you said, this is a tough one as well. This is what I mean about the freaking heavyweight. Like this is what we gotta look forward to.
Yeah, Olameda, I think is
It's hard. Okay, I'll just go.
Volkov is a tough fight though, and he lost it by split decision.
I don't disagree. I don't know if I'm just gonna go with the Russian over the Brazilian here. There's no real rhyme or reason. I'm not excited, but it's fine, whatever. The next one, like you said, this is a hard one because Amir had been winning until he lost to Brandon Moreno, like you said, and then the other guy, Horiguchi's a stud. Like he's hitting that prime for a fighter, like you said. I'm gonna go with Horiguchi like that, and then Batista. God, this is the hardest. Like this is the fights that I'm just like I hate because like you said, they're similar size, similar. Batista, I like him a lot. He had he sat in there with Margomeradov and he had some good moments, but this Oliveira has a lot of upside. It's just hard. He's undefeated as well here. I'm just gonna go with Oliveira, like you said. I'm gonna go with you. I think he's a little younger and we'll see what happens. It's just, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Absolutely. All right. That wraps up another episode of Dad Bods and Touchdowns. Eric, what do you got in closing for us?
I really just hope we can watch some good fights, have a good Saturday, and then go into Sunday, watch some football. And it sucks it's our last football game, but, hopefully the Patriots lose because I don't want to hear about Mays, the next coming of Brady. But anyways, I appreciate everybody watching. Hopefully, you can please like and subscribe, please put comments. We'll keep pushing. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think you have to worry about the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. I truly believe that the Seahawks are going to handily win that one. That one may be over by halftime, I'm thinking. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I'm not as wrong as Eric is when it comes to his picks, as we know. So we were both 3-2.
I was going to say we literally did the same last week.
But anyway, we do appreciate you watching. And please, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, if you like what you're hearing, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then shoot us some comments. What would you like us to cover? We're hitting that part of the year where we're running into baseball season. Spring training's about ready to open up. We've got UFC fights going. We are going to cover some RAF. We briefly talked about that with Daniel Cormier and John Jones, possibly. That would be nice to see, but probably won't happen. But Real American Freestyle, if you're a wrestling fan, we're definitely going to hit a couple segments on that, I think, coming up with some of the events they have. If you haven't watched it, check it out. We're saying that we appreciate you watching and be kind to each other. We're out. Peace.